How did an orphan like Darius become a general of Noxus? Why did his child kill the love of his life, and is Darius the greatest leader of Noxus?
Big man Darius was born in a place called Basilage. He was an orphan alongside his younger brother Draven. They were kind of poor growing up, so Darius would struggle providing for himself and his brother. He also spent a lot of his childhood fighting for money and survival. There was also a girl called Varn who he had a really big crush on, and together they wanted to conquer the world. It's a bit crazy, but true. Skip some time and a Noxian army invaded Basilage, led by a man called Cyrus. It was a shitty situation for Darius, Draven and Varn, since they would either need to join the army or die. And Darius and Varn did not really want to surrender, but Darius was worried he could not keep Draven safe. However, it was kinda too late, as Draven with balls of steel threw a knife to fight the Noxians. This knife ended up hitting the captain's flag, and this then led the three of them to get captured. Now luckily, Draven was a sweet talker, so dude is able to brag his way into Cyrus's good side. So much so that Cyrus wants the three of them to join the Noxian army. In Noxus is where the three of them grow up to become adults. Darius ends up marrying Varn and they have two kids, Invicia and Decius. He and Draven served as soldiers under Cyrus, engaging in a lot of war campaigns and stopping any rebellions against the current emperor Boram Darkwill. Darius pretty quickly rose through the ranks, and dude was actually borderline psychotic. In one battle, a Noxian general ordered to retreat. Darius grabbed his axe and beheaded him there and then. He then rallied the troops to victory. This is also how he became a Noxian commander and then labelled as the Hand of Noxus by the Emperor. On one of his missions, he was sent to Freyord to conquer it, where he is fighting against the Winter Claw. The Winter Claw are a bunch of strong soldiers with fighters like Olaf and Sejuani. And from this cinematic, we know that in one of his encounters he ends up fighting Trundle. But what is most interesting about this is that Trundle should have had Giga slap Darius, but Darius is able to withstand a beating and true ice on his arm, and get a final hit to knock Trundle unconscious. Side note, in case you do not know what true ice is, it's this magical ice that basically only a few iceborn can control. A regular human will just die from it. This, alongside a stalemate with the Winter Claw, are reasons why Darius ends up retreating his army to Noxus to consolidate the strategy to conquer Freyord. And during this Freyord conquest, simultaneously is when there was a revolution in Noxus and Jericho Swain had overthrown Darkwill from the throne. And if you want to know why Swain does this, click the video in the description. Weirdly, although Darius was meant to die for Darkwill, he actually respected Swain for his accomplishments and is even prepared to serve him. However, Swain gives him a place in the Trifarian Legion, where he would represent 1/3 of the rulers as Noxus as the might of Noxus. The other 2/3 are Swain, who represents Vision, and we think LeBlanc is the third, who represents Kyle. Also, cool fact, you know Ambessa? She actually can't stand Darius at all and thinks he's an arrogant donkey with no brain. She also had a motto that said, "You need to like and subscribe." Anyways, despite Darius becoming such a high rank in Noxus, one of his children, Decius, ends up dying in a campaign against Freyord. Varn, his wife, is deeply upset about this, whereas Darius is proud his son died for Noxus. This is the first reason a rift comes between the married couple, and rightfully so. Darius needs help. Okay, also, the most juicy part in his whole lore is that Varn ends up hating Darius. Basically, she finds out how crazy Noxus are and how tyrannical they are in their ways towards innocent people. An example is she finds out that Singe created a chemical gas weapon which Noxus used to kill millions of innocent Ionians. Varn starts telling Darius this and he is like, bruh, suck it up. It ain't that deep. It's for Noxian glory. The dude's a donkey. Then, you know, the second kid, Invicia, well, that kid ends up killing Varn. Imagine killing your own mother. Darius asks her why, and Invicia says it's Noxian philosophy and she learnt that from him. Damn. Anyways, this last bit is kind of retcon because of arcane, so yeah, ignore it, but it's hella cool to mention.
So the big question is Darius the greatest leader of Noxus? Let's compare with LeBlanc. Yeah, she is supposedly one of the 3 generals of Noxus, and you can easily think she does not care for them and only cares for her own personal gain. However, we forget that she is thousands of years old and is aware of the threat that Mordekaiser was. And she is preparing for Mordekaiser's return with a lot of important relics and artifacts, which you could argue is for the benefit of Noxus, as when Mordekaiser returns, he will try to take over Noxus and someone has to stop him. This is why she sent Elise in the past to the Shadow Isles to find Mordekaiser's helmet. Also, she actually helped found Noxus, which is important. And with Swain, initially, he went around killing anyone who he thought had bad intentions towards Emperor Darkwill and Noxus. He even went as far to kill his own parents, which shows us this dude is willing to do anything for his nation. Also, when he found out that Darkwill did not care for Noxus as he should, he replaced him instantly. and now does a lot of operations to help Noxus succeed and conquer Runeterra. For example, he sent Katarina to kill King Jarvan III in Demacia, in the hopes it makes it easier to invade Demacia. And Darius, yeah, he's not magically gifted the way LeBlanc is, nor does he have a demon under him like Swain, but he has the most experience in war fighting for Noxus. And ultimately, to expand Noxus' influence over the world, you need to fight, and he's willing to do that, even today. He was also the hand of Noxus very early on by killing a general who was scared to fight for Noxus, and was willing to do anything to serve his country. I mean, when his first child died, he said it's good, right? As it was whilst fighting for the nation. And he even let his wife's killer walk away as it was for Noxus' good. So who is the greatest general in your view? Let me know in the comments. Thank you, love you, bye.